Greetings, dear soul. I am Crispy, a Gaian emissary of light. Een Lak, Tzolk'in. I am another you. You are another me. We are one God-sciousness. And today, I am here to tell you that you are divine feminine and divine masculine embodied. Every single human being is, because the prime creatorix, the source, God, if you will, Mother, Father, God-sciousness, is divinely feminine and divinely masculine energy. The whole omniverse is. Nothing could exist otherwise. Quick history lesson. For about, let's just say 2,000 years, but it started quite a bit before that, a certain mindset, we'll call it, of toxic masculinity began to take over the world. They killed Yeshua ben Joseph, who was divinely feminine and divinely masculine, and they ran off his wife. She fled. Mary Magdalene, who was also divinely feminine and divinely masculine. And those people that murdered him also murdered his message. They distorted it. They burned the Library of Alexandria and murdered every Essene they could. And after about 300 years, finally they said, well, we're taking over his religion. And they wrote the New Testament, adding it to the Old Testament, which was just the Jewish Bible anyway. And then they began forcing this cultic information that there's only one God and he's an angry old man sitting on a throne and he will judge you and he will punish you forever because you were born in original sin, etc., etc., etc. And here we are 2,000 years later, 2023 or whatever, following the Roman Gregorian calendar and the most warring country on earth. Every single president has been sworn in with the hand on the Bible, and they're all Christians, and then they go murder people all over the world. Isn't that nice? Meanwhile, their cronies own all the corporations that are selling us all these products we don't need with overly sexualized advertising of scantily clad pin-up models who've probably had numerous plastic surgeries. That's the only image of femininity, and I will just call that toxic femininity. You cannot have divine femininity without divine masculinity. Without any divinity, both sides are toxic on their own. Every human is both, and this message was zapped into me, downloaded into me. One day while meditating, this image, not quite this, because this is you looking at me. I suddenly felt this. I was inside the Wheel of 20, and my right hand was being gripped by my divine masculine guide, and my left hand was open and receptive, into which my divine feminine guide's left hand was placed. I didn't understand it at the time. It lasted for 1 second and was gone. But later, more details were coming in, and I realized every human being has divine masculine and divine feminine qualities. This is quite possibly a 5,000-year-old system, 5,135 years old. We don't really know because the Roman Spanish Catholics burned 10,000 books and smashed every idol and tortured and murdered Mayan shaman kings and queens and everybody else who they could find. The Maya, like all indigenous cultures, know that the creator of the omniverse is divine feminine and divine masculine. That's partly why the Catholics had such a hell-bent, terrifying regime to destroy their culture. Then, 450 years later, medical science finds out that the human brain is actually two brains. Every human being has a left hand that goes to their right mind, which is feminine, receptive, artistic, and emotional. And everyone has a right hand that goes to your left mind, which is logical, languages, laws, and facts. And that's perfect. We all have both. We all are both. Along with the Roman Catholic Gregorian calendar came their money lending system and perpetual debt increasing, spiraling, and in God we trust on that global unit of measure of the concept of money, which is directly tied to the concept of ownership. And for thousands of years it was the men owned property and their women, which they could trade and give away or do whatever they wanted. Complete toxic masculinity was their god. It still is too. And it's fading. After approximately 1,630 years, the Roman Catholic Church said, actually, Mary Magdalene was not a prostitute. In 1969, when I was about 6 months old, they made that little announcement. They didn't tell us who she was, a high priestess in the Isis Hathor goddess religion, basically from Egypt. And they still haven't told us that Yeshua's mother was also a high priestess in the Isis Hathor goddess religion, which believes all humans are both divine feminine and divine masculine. It could not be any other way. So, here we are today. What do we do? You, my friend, are divine masculine and divine feminine. You have to balance these energies by pulling them into your heart. Now, as it happens, I can tell you precisely what your divine masculine and divine feminine qualities are, and I can tell you exactly what the blocks are to harmonizing them, to opening your heart, to allow these energies into your heart. Your heart is the center of the omniverse. If you took a line from your heart and went out as far as it possibly could, and then curved around and went as far as it possibly could, and then came back, it would prove to you that your heart is the exact center of the omniverse. Now, if you want to talk about chakras, we know that the heart chakra is the center. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the center, 5, 6, 7. Sure, there may be others. There probably are. But as far as the rainbow goes, 7 colors. Green is the center, the heart. So that's all we need to focus on right now, is opening the heart. Yes, if you email me, I will do this for you and tell you everything you need to know to harmonize and balance your divine feminine and divine masculine qualities. What's more than this, each one of these people, as it were, this is a birthday of approximately 30 million people. So there's approximately 30 million people who could be your divine masculine balance, and 30 million that could be your divine feminine balance. And each of those days are split into a tone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There are 13 tones. I was also shown this vision of how to envision them according to the chakras. And there are 20 glyphs, these images, the pictures, pictographs. Here we are. So each birthday is a combination of one of the tones and one of the glyphs. And that means that you have 2 influences over here, a number from 1 to 13, and a glyph, and 2 over here. So it may be that the one person who, 1 out of 260 people, is your exact divine masculine match, but 1 out of 13 people has your tone that is your divine masculine tone. 1 out of 13 here, 1 out of 20 is the glyph as well. So you can learn from so many people what your divine masculine, divine feminine qualities are. I can tell you. Now, other than all of that, I think in today's day and age, most of us are toxic masculine. I certainly was, basically until I learned this. And what also helped me was stopping drinking alcohol. Alcohol is so deeply tied into toxic masculinity and toxic femininity. Most bars, nightclubs, toxic. If you drink more than 2 or 3 nights a week, you are not in your divine feminine and divine masculine powers. It is possible to drink a little bit once in a while, once or twice a week, I don't know. But for me, 100% stop. I also 100% stopped tobacco and caffeine. For the most part, coffee I completely quit. Now, I highly recommend to you that you drink cacao. There is some caffeine. But what there also is theobromide, which is a heart-opening chemical. If you can, source Guatemalan, possibly Mexican in the Chiapas region, Palenque, they grow cacao pods. You can get cacao powder or the cakes, as it were. Or other places like Peru. But I suggest you stop using toxic masculine chemicals. Start using cacao to open your heart as much as possible. Now, if you have an overactive masculine daily life, meaning you go out and you work, especially if you do very competitive, financially oriented work, sales of anything. If you are involved in a company that is taking over anything or that is destroying nature in any way, you have a hole in your heart. You have to heal it. No one else can do that. So temporarily, while you hold that position, you need to start balancing by using your right mind as much as possible to balance. Now, a very simple way to do that is just by coloring. I am not a very artistic person, but I greatly enjoyed coloring that. And this, you can download these, you can buy books that you can color. I actually drew this whole thing myself, and it took me a really long time, like hours of erasing, because I am not very artistic. This thing took me like 2 years to draw. Okay, but I've been using my right mind. Another thing you need to develop is your intuition. For, I don't know, centuries or whatever, it's been called women's intuition, and that is not true whatsoever. It is, however, connected to your right mind that is receptive, and you can receive information through your receptive, feminine right mind. If you shut the right-handed, logical, left brain down and you open yourself. One of the ways you might want to do that is getting a deck of tarot cards. I keep mine in silk. I suggest you do too. Learn the tarot. Many mysteries are contained within. Do you have an altar in your home? Do you have seashells on your altar? The ocean is the womb of all life on earth. Goddess Gaia, Mother Nature's womb, is the ocean. Have seashells. Go to the ocean. Swim in it. We are at a time in our development where we are coming to realize we have been allowing ourselves to be controlled by toxic masculinity for thousands of years. And what we must do is forgive it unconditionally. We cannot blame. Blaming is toxic masculine. We cannot run away. We cannot hide or escape. That is toxic feminine. We need to grow up and grow into our divine sovereignty. That term, sovereign divinity, divine sovereignty, has been given to us for about 30 years now. Some of the first people to transmit that phrase were channeling the Pleiadians. It is said that the Mayan calendar, the divine Mayan Tzolk'in calendar, came to Earth by the Pleiadians 5,000 years ago, maybe 2,600 years ago. We don't really know because all of the records were burned and other things. What the bottom line is, my friend, is that you are a divine fractal. You are a holy hologram. You are a sacred spark of God-sciousness, and every single human being is also. You are eternal. You can never die. This little flesh DNA earth suit is a temporary blip, but at the same time, it's everything you've got, other than your soul, which is everything you are. We are here to learn and grow and evolve and ascend. We are here to become enlightened. The only way to do that is to completely balance and harmonize your divine femininity and divine masculinity. And that means no more judging, no more blaming, no more scapegoating. We must have 100% complete and total unconditional forgiveness for all humanity and all non-humanity. That is our God-sciousness given vibration. It is also unconditional love. Unconditional love and unconditional forgiveness are the same thing, and the two of them are also unconditional trust. The three of them are one thing. Unconditional trust that everything is perfect every single time. To doubt and to fear and to get angry is the toxic masculine ego, which is an illusion, and that's fine. It's okay. It comes with the DNA Earth suit. You just need to take it out of the driver's seat, put it in the back seat, give it a healthy snack and a comic book, not an iPad, okay? I am here to help you with this, with some extremely precise and specific information that could change your life so much for the better. If you do not want to do anything related to the Mayan calendar, no problem. You still have to balance your divine feminine and divine masculine, and you still must have unconditional love, unconditional forgiveness, and unconditional trust. And if you can find those on your own, fantastic. Many, 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 many of us starseed light worker way showers have. You can, it's fine, and I can show you too. Een Lak, Namaste.